wondering, I would like to have it for later. So, all
Perfect. I'm
right,
looking forward.
let me just start by saying that for about a year now, I average about 30 Success Club points a month, 30 to 40. And the number that I'm able to get, I'm going to tell you how to have these yes conversations. But the high number that I get is because I'm having these conversations a lot. There's a high volume of these conversations happening. There is no like secret magical button that I'm pushing and just getting, these high numbers. I'm just repeating this process with a lot more people than, someone who's only hitting Success Club 5 or Success Club 10. So I did actually prepare. I'm a little meticulous sometimes, and I like to chatter, so I have to have something to keep myself on track. So I have a slideshow for you guys. Can everybody see my screen? Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's just get started. So this is having yes conversations, and I came up with this because I have always been good at helping people get signed up with the challenge pack. I don't do a lot of DB programs. I don't do Shakeology solo orders. It's always been challenge packs, and I've been very good at that. And I typically had an issue realizing like what my strengths were in the beginning until my coaches, they would start taking screenshots of conversation that they were stuck in, and they would send it to me. And I would respond as if it were my person. And they kept saying, wow, that's a really great response. Or, oh my gosh, I never would have thought about that. Like, you're really good at that. So that's when it kind of clicked for me that I'm good at having conversations. And so I started looking at them and identifying the pieces, and all of my conversations had 8 distinct phases in them. Some of them were missing, like phase 7. I don't get a lot of objections, you guys, and I'm going to explain why. So the first phase is introductions and starting the conversation. That one goes by very, very fast. It's very easy just to say hello, how are you doing, or thanks for liking my post, are you on a fit journey like me? Phase 2 is establishing that initial connection. Phase 3 deepens that, and this is where you get really big into the questions asking, and you're asking about them. You're finding out about their journey, their life, their story. And I have some big topics that I always ask questions around. I'm going to share that with you today. Phase 4 always turns the connection emotional. And I jokingly say all the time that my best asset as a coach may genuinely be the fact that I am good at making people cry. And it's because I'm a total crybaby, and I'm like, I can tap into those emotions very easily with myself. And so tapping into that emotional, piece of it is, I think that's the most powerful, like the punch behind all of it. Because if you skip over that part, it really doesn't mean anything, right? It doesn't do anything if you just know someone wants to lose 20 pounds. Why they want to lose it, however, is enough to, turn anything around and have them to really, truly start believing that they could do it. Phase 5 solidifies the relationship and it adds value. Phase 6 is my scripts, and this is, I don't have, any other script except for how I describe my challenge group. And exactly, like, I have 2 scripts, how I describe my challenge group and the price script, how to tell you what the price is and what's next. Excuse me. Phase 7 is objections. And like I said in parentheses there, you may avoid this if you execute, 1 through 6 properly. And then 8 is wrapping up and adding to a group. So the first part, and I have some sample conversations. I hope that you guys can see that that's not being blocked by the video. So first of all, where do conversations come from? Number 1, from your posts. So posting is a very automatic thing for me. I've been posting on social and telling my story. That's probably my second strongest asset, is storytelling. And that's going to be something that, you need to have nailed down to the wall, because that's going to be where most of your conversations are coming from. The second biggest place is new friends, and then the third is other people that are on social media, connections, and it just kind of spiders out, into that network. The easiest thing is just to say hi, ask how they're doing, be friendly, like, stop forgetting that you're a human, right? Just say hello and be genuinely interested in them. So I'm not actually going to read through this conversation. I'm going to point out a couple of pieces in it as we go, but we are recording, so you guys can actually go back and reread through that if you want to. And I can post the PowerPoint that I have too, if you guys want to actually read through those. So phase 1, right? Just say hi, start the conversation. Phase 2 is where you establish that initial connection. It's where you get to know them. You find out how they found you. You start asking questions. This is really just small talk. You're going to lead the conversation. In this phase, you're going to lead it to fitness if it's not already there. For me, 99% of my conversations start on fitness because I've established myself on social. It was not like that in the beginning. I had to go and actually pursue that as a topic of conversation because that's not where it started. But once you get out there and you're posting and you've been doing it for a month or two, people are going to start recognizing you as that person. You're going to have like fitness kind of just going into it because you're on your journey and you're sharing about that. And if you're doing that good enough, then that's going to be a part of who you become on social media. So that's going to be very easy. But if it's not already on there, like if you go to someone's profile and you see that their son just had a birthday party yesterday, maybe you start the conversation by saying, hey, I saw your son's birthday was yesterday. I'm just curious where you guys had the party at. It looks like you'll have a lot of fun, right? Like that's so easy. And you're asking them to talk about themselves. So that's probably the biggest thing, is just to get them talking about themselves. And then it's very easy when you're starting this, hey, how are you? Kind of thing, you're going to ask them how they're doing, and it's cordial. It's natural for people to return that to you. So when they ask you how you're doing, there's the perfect time to kind of bridge over fitness when you're going to say, oh, I'm so sore. I just finished my workout. I've been doing 2 weeks of whatever. And then when you tell them that, people are, they're going to respond back to that. And most of the time, it's either going to be, oh yeah, I'm on a fit journey too, or that's awesome. I wish I had that kind of motivation, or whatever. And you just take it from there. So you're going to relate to their answers. The whole process throughout this entire conversation is ask a question, relate in some way, and then ask another question. Every single message, the only point for you to even send a message on social when it comes to your business is to lead to another exposure, which means another message. You need them to respond back to you in some way so that you can continue that conversation and move it along. And you need to make sure that you're being grateful of any information that they're giving to you. A lot of the times, these people are going to be getting very vulnerable. I'm going to move these videos just for a sec so you can see this. But people are going to be getting really vulnerable and sharing some, personal information. So make sure that you're saying thank you and that you're getting, vulnerable with them. So in the questions phase, the 3 big topics that you're going to cover is, number 1, goals and their story, right? What do they want to accomplish? The second is their experience. What have they done before that did or didn't work? And you need to know that, because in order to know where you're headed, you got to know where you're coming from, right? And so there's no reason for you to sit and try to help someone and do the same thing that they failed in before. So that's very important to get that information out in regards to a challenge member or coach or anything. The third is, what is their current lifestyle? So do they work? Are they stay-at-home parents? Do they go to school? Do they not have kids at all? Like, what is their current routine from the time you wake up until you go to bed? What do you do every day? That's one of the biggest questions I like to ask, because if you're going to help them to really, truly make this real for them, you need to know what their routine is so that you can say, look, I see, I know that you like your shows in the evening, but what if you woke up an hour earlier so that you can save that time and just do your workouts in the morning? Or do you want to give up the TV time and maybe take 30 minutes out of your evening? So it's very important as a coach for you to be able to identify that, little things that you can weave in there. And another thing is maybe meal prep, asking their schedule and their routine. And you're going to find out about what time they have to dedicate to meal prep. You're also going to ask in that lifestyle question or topic, you're going to ask about what are they currently eating and drinking every day. So that's really important. If they're going out to eat every single day, from the very beginning that they don't know a thing about clean eating. And so you really need to just make it simple and get back to the basics. If there's someone who's been, eating healthy and maybe their portions are just off, you don't have to spend a lot of time explaining about the outer rim of the store, all this other stuff. You don't have to really dig into that stuff, so you can just get right to where they need it. So one thing that I did want to mention is to think outside the box. I worked in healthcare before, and so I know that people who are CNAs and work in home health, they tend to be very kind of take care of everybody else and put themselves last, right? In order to do a job like that, you kind of have to have that in your personality. And so she told me she was a CNA and that she worked in home health. And so I was like, I asked her, and I'm guessing just based off your personal experience, that you're probably used to putting yourself last, right? Like you take care of everyone else and then you. That's important because I'm getting to that emotional part, right? I'm getting to the reason why maybe she's overweight in the first place. I'm getting down to the real roots of what's going on so that I can really, truly help her make this real. So after you go through those 3 big topics, before I move on, I'm sorry, let me just touch on this really quickly. So remember, this is not an interview. You're going to be genuinely interested in them. And so the questions may not directly be about fitness, but it's going to help you to identify who they are, like that CNA thing, right? that asking about the CNA and how she does with her job, that's not exactly fitness related, but it does give you little clues about who she is as a person. And then you're going to want to weave in confirmation about what you have to offer and be confident, because Beachbody is not the #1 company in the health and fitness industry for any reason, right? What we have works. And it doesn't matter if you're a brand new coach or if you've been coaching for a long time. These programs work. They're world renowned for a reason. P90X is a household name. You don't have to worry about whether or not this stuff works. All you have to do is be confident in what you're talking about and know that you have the best company in the industry backing you, and that you have an upline or a whole team of coaches somewhere that you can tap into if you need help. So be enthusiastic, but don't, using a bunch of emoticons and a bunch of exclamation marks, like, I think you're yelling at me, so don't do that. I have to always make sure to say that. So phase 4 is where it really gets important, because this is where you turn the connection emotional. This is where you find out their why. And sometimes, it might just come out in conversation where they're telling you and they start touching on different things, but you may just have to come out and ask it. Like, for example, in this message right here, I said, okay, so the last thing is, what is your ideal weight in life? I know this is a little weird, but I want you to be specific. My job as a coach is to connect you to a why that's so strong you're never going to give up. So before we go any further, I want to know what that is for you. I know we're getting deep, but if you haven't already felt it, I'm 100% genuine, and I truly care about every person in my groups. I want this to be real for you. So if you had a magical wand and you could wave it and be your ideal self, what would that look and feel like for you? How would you be physically? What kind of things would you be doing with your family? What is the elephant that's sitting on your chest? That's deep. And if you get to that, if you pull that information out of them, it doesn't matter what, you could tell them that it's $1,500 to buy a challenge pack. If you get that information out of them, it doesn't matter what the price is. I'm going to tell you that. It doesn't matter at all, because this is what's really important. What they really want to accomplish, that's what matters. And so make sure that you tap into that. That's why the why is so important. We talk about that why as coaches and what makes us, tick and keep going in the business. But that why for a challenge member is just as important. And that challenge member eventually may become a coach. So by getting them attached to that why early on, you're planting that foundation for them to really grow and develop on that. So here is also where you may need to open up and be vulnerable about yourself. Like when you get to the why, that emotional part, expect for the, like, if you're, super connected to your emotions, expect to get, teary-eyed or dig deep and reveal some really vulnerable stuff about yourself, because that's how they're going to be comfortable sharing that with you, right? You may have to open that door first before, they're going to share that with you. And once they do, you need to reconfirm their why. So once you find out exactly what it is, you have to say, like, this girl was telling me that, she's going back to see her family, and she is terrified of how judgmental her family is and how much weight she had gained. And the last thing, like, she literally would rather jump off a bridge than go back to her family looking the way that she was. So when I responded to her, I was very, very sure of myself. And I said, listen, I'm not going to, if you plug in and you stick with me and you show up to my challenge group, I'm going to get you through every single day. And I'm not going to let you go back to your family like that. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And we're going to get you to be successful. Sometimes people just need for you to say that to them. So phase 5 is where you're going to solidify the relationship and add value. This is where, like, for example, she, we went back to her basic goals just to kind of tie everything up and get to the script. And she said, I know I'm a cow. So with this girl, I immediately started asking her about personal development. I said, do me a favor. This negative talk, this is something that we're going to have to X out from the beginning. You and I are going to work together and we're going to be real with each other, but calling yourself names, even if it's just a joke, it's not funny, right? Like, this has got to stop. And I know that because of my own past with depression and eating disorders and self-sabotage. Like, that's me. So that allowed me, because I opened up to her and I was vulnerable with her, she opened up to me. And so I asked her to do me a favor. And she was very, very, receptive of that. So right there in adding value to her, I went on to talk about personal development. I suggested that she get the book, I Am That Girl by Alexis Jones, because it's an excellent book. If you guys haven't read that, I suggest that you do. It's awesome for building confidence and really coming out and finding your own voice. So I was helping her from the beginning before I ever got to a script. So if somebody tells you that, they're gluten sensitive or that they can't do time management, maybe you just go get on Google or Pinterest and you find a blog article, right, about whatever issue that they have, and you send up the article to them and you're like, hey, I found this. I think it might help you. So whatever it is that you can do, just help. So the 4 big areas that you're going to talk about are their goals and their story, the experience, what they've tried before, what didn't work, what didn't, the current lifestyle, routines, what they're currently eating, if they work, all that kind of stuff, and then their why. So after you, when you get to this part, you're going to start dealing proactively with objections. So I just come up and ask. One of the biggest objections I was getting in the beginning was, okay, I need to ask my husband, and then they disappear. I'd never hear anything back. Like that spousal approval thing just kind of crushed me in the beginning. So what I did is I made a list of all my objections that I was getting, and I started proactively dealing with them, and now I don't get the objections anymore. So this is how I bypass objections a lot of the time. So I just asked her, you know, how about your hubby? Does he support you in getting healthy? Will he help keep you motivated? And she told me, oh yeah, he's definitely down. He, you know, backs me with every decision. I love that about him. So she has a very supportive spouse. So that helps me when we get down to the price. If she tells me, well, I got to go and talk to my husband, I'm going to remind her of how supportive her husband is, right? I'm going to say, listen, your husband totally backs you. You told me that already. He's going to be okay with this. This is a decision that you have to make. So that's when you're really going to be able to use whatever it is that they've given you to deal with those self-limitations, because that's all an objection is. It's a self-limiting belief, and it's your job to deal with that. So this is the part where you're just going to paste in the scripts. I'm not going to read this because it's long, but I don't mind sharing my scripts. I can do that later with you guys. But I just paste in my script. I talk about how it works, and it's very yes oriented. So I describe exactly what's going to happen, that we're going to work together every day. And then, you know, how does that sound to you? And when they come back and they say it sounds good, then I start with, okay, well, let's talk about getting your programs and getting started. Here's the cost. Here's what's next. I also mentioned auto ship in my price because I'm very upfront. I don't want anybody coming back to me later saying, you didn't tell me about this. Yes, I did. You gave me a screenshot. I know I sent it to you because I don't tell about price any other way. So this is my system. 2 scripts and then I'm done. So the 7 is your optional objections phase, and that's a whole nother call, but you guys are probably familiar with feel, felt, found. And it's basically, I understand how you feel. This is how I felt, and this is what I found. And if you're genuine about that, you're going to be able to deal with any objection that arrives and use pieces from the conversation, like I told you earlier about being proactive. So wrap up phase 8. I'm going to tell you guys that every single conversation, there's only 4 options. I've got 3 listed, but there's only 4 options. When you have a conversation with me, when it comes to my business and what I'm doing, there's only 4 options. Number 1, you're either going to sign up with a challenge pack as a coach or a customer. Number 2, you're not going to have the money to buy it, but you get paid in a couple of weeks. So we're going to set a date. I'm going to help you, get started with my 3-meal plan in the meantime, and I'm going to follow up with you during that. And remember that on such and such date, you're starting my big group. Or number 3, you have absolutely no money to buy. You have no clue how you're ever going to get the money. That's okay too. Make me your free coach. I'm going to put you into my general fitness page on Facebook. And I'm going to give you my meal plan and some YouTube workouts. And we're going to get you started anyways. Finances is not a reason for you not to get started. Ever. Okay? So that's the 3. The 4th way is that you stop responding to me. And I got a lot of those too. But that's your 4 options. There is no way I can help you. That's probably the biggest thing that has affected my Success Club numbers is that I made it my mission to personally help every single person that I talk to. Doesn't matter if it's with a challenge pack. Doesn't matter if it's signing up in my full group, free group, whatever. I don't care. One way or another, I'm going to lead with my full group because I truly believe in this business. I truly believe in the challenge groups that we run. I know that what we're doing works, so that's going to be the best solution for you, and I genuinely believe in that. But if you can't afford to buy a challenge pack, I'm not going to turn you away. So that is probably the process through this conversation, and then the fact that every single conversation ends in one of 4 ways with me. That's probably why I am where I am, because now I have people that I talked to 2 years ago that are they're coming back around. They're like, you know what? Wow, Angel, I could have been where you are, right? If I would have started a year ago when we talked, I could be where you are right now. I'm ready. Let's just do this. Or I'll get, on my coach online office, I'll look and see, and all of a sudden I've got 2 or 4. One month I had 6 Success Club points. I had no idea where they come from, and it was mobile enrollments that I had sent months ago where people, fell off, and I had followed up and they never responded, and all of a sudden they just went and bought, right? And this is why. Because they came into my group, because I helped them, because I still found a way. So no matter what, their personal situation is, there's no reason why they can't start feeling better today. So the last thing that I want to do, just to kind of wrap up, I hope I'm doing okay on time. I've been trying to kind of fly through this because I could really talk about this all day. But so my list of do's: be confident. Even if you're a brand new coach, you have to act like the coach you want to be. So we don't just start this business being the coach that we want to turn into. I didn't start this business as a star diamond, neither did you guys, right? So you have to, the quicker that you can convince your brain to start, behaving like the coach you want to be, the quicker you're going to get there. And I'll tell you a quick story. Have you ever called into work, right? And you're pretending to be sick and you dull your voice down, and maybe you're even setting it up for a couple of days, and the day before you're calling in, you're coughing and you pretend like you have a headache, and so like you can really execute this thing. And so the next day comes and you call into work, and then all of a sudden, okay, well, you're out of work, but then you start feeling like crap, and you're like, well, maybe my subconscious was just telling me I was going to get sick, and I really was sick. No, you pretended to be sick long enough. Your brain was like, okay, you're sick. Let's go be sick today. So your brain is an incredibly powerful thing, and whatever you are telling yourself, your brain's going to believe it and make it come true. So you have to immediately start acting like the coach you want to be. You wait for the results. The results come. Trust the process and be the coach you want to be from day one. Trust that Shakeology and the workout program is the best solution. If you guys don't know, Shakeology is king. I've had people come to me with 70, 80 bucks ready to buy a workout program, and I will literally tell them, listen, I don't want you to spend your 70 bucks on a program. I would rather you save that money and get everything you need from day one, because Shakeology is more important than a workout program. I can have you go walk laps around your house. As long as you're sweating, you're doing something good for your body. Nutrition, on the other hand, not the same. So with Shakeology, I know you're at least getting one meal every day that's going to supercharge your body and really get you the kind of results that you need. If you guys haven't seen the Lashae Stanford, how the duplicatable ways of selling Shakeology, that video changed my business. Lashae Stanford is amazing, and it's about 45 minutes long, and I've watched it about 8 times, and I've taken notes and gotten something different out of it every single time. So that is an incredible video. It's on YouTube. You can just go search it. I mentioned educate yourself on Shakeology in our program. You need to lead with Shakeology. Like I said, it's the most important thing in my business. I will tell someone I will turn down commission off of a retail sale when someone comes to me and they're wanting a workout program, because I have YouTube workouts. I'll put you in my group. I can give you a workout program. That's not a problem. I can help you with meal planning. The issue is really that I need you to get Shakeology, because that's the most important thing for you. And so I want you to save your money and make it go as far as you can possibly go. So be enthusiastic, and remember, what did you need to hear to start? You had doubts and fears too, and more than likely whatever you were scared of when you got started is the same thing these people are going to be scared of too, because you attract people who are like you. So just don't forget about what you needed to hear. What made you say yes? And then go do that. Also, go for no. That's the biggest thing when it comes to high success club numbers, because I get excited when people tell me no. Like I was probably the hardest. I was my coach's Elise Hubbard. I was her first coach, and she worked on me for about 5 months. No lie. And she was so persistent, bless her heart, and that's why she is who she is. But she, I was the hardest, I was the hardest, yes, and she had to fight for me. So for that reason, when it comes to somebody telling me no, I like hearing that, because I know that no just means not right now. And I know that I'm going to help you anyways. I know that that's what it means. So go for that. Push for that no. Be sincere, help in any way possible that you can. Show them how much like them you are. Don't elevate yourself. Yeah, you're a coach, but that doesn't make you, up on a pedestal. That doesn't mean that you're some great leader. You should be out in the trenches with them, leading from the front. And you should be on your journey too. And the more that you could show them how like them you are, the easier it's going to be for them to believe in themselves. Because if I can do it, you can, right? You follow up when you should. Make sure that you're tracking. That's probably my biggest weakness. I need to get better at that. But take it from somebody who knows. Follow up when you should. Don't try to know it all. So when somebody asks you a question, don't make up anything, because you don't have all the answers. And if you tell them the wrong information, that's going to be the thing that lasts forever. So just, if you don't know, just say you don't know, and say, you know what, I have no idea, but I know where we can find out. It's called Google and Pinterest and my upline coach, right? So don't be afraid to fail. Don't get stuck. Let your upline help you, or your success partner or someone. I always tell my coaches, if you get stuck in conversation, screenshot, send it to me with a little bit of information about the conversation, and I'll respond as if it's me talking to them, and I'll help you. Don't avoid rejection. I already mentioned don't overuse emoticons or punctuation. Don't type in all caps, because again, it's text yelling. Don't be judgmental, and don't fear judgment. Who cares what people think about you? They're not paying your bills or raising your babies or keeping you warm at night, so who cares what they think, right? Don't overthink or complicate it. That's like my number one thing. I was good at in the beginning. I overthought everything, which is why I know that that's a bad thing to do. Don't get into a product war. If somebody says, well, I'm using isogenic, well, that's fantastic. Why did you start using that, right? How has it been going for you? Where did you get it from? How much are you paying for that, right? Tell me about your experience with it. And I had this girl, straight up, she was a Thrive distributor, and she wanted to do a workout program with me. And I come straight up and I was like, listen, to be in my group, you'll need to be committed to doing a program from front to back with me. My workouts, my meal plan, Shakeology, all of it, because I'm responsible for you as your coach. And I want to make sure that I'm providing the best possible experience. If I can do that for you and I give you, like, you have a 30-day guarantee, so you're not going to lose anything. If you're not 100% sold on it, I'll just help you get your money back. No problem. But I need you to commit. So I don't know what you do with Thrive. I don't know anything about it. And I do, but I don't need to get in that conversation with her. But what I'm telling you is that I need for you to commit to the program with me and give it a full 30-day shot. Are you willing to do that? And she was like, yeah, I'm down. I'm in. Let's go. So there's no reason to be in a product war and worry about why Shakeology is better. We know that. Your job is not to prove that to them by talking about it. Your job is to prove that to them by getting it in their body and letting them feel it. Right? That's how you prove to them that Shakeology is the best thing. So don't be unorganized. Make sure that you're keeping your thoughts together. Don't try to be perfect. Never, ever mislead or lie. And then don't move too fast in the scripts. 90% of new coach issues when it comes to conversation, and a lot of even seasoned coaches, they kind of lose sight of the process a little bit. And 90% of that, like when I have them copy and paste their conversations to me in a Word document, and I take a look at it, and I give them feedback, and I say, this is what I would have said instead. 90% of the time, the issue is that they're just like word vomiting, or they're moving into the scripts too fast. They didn't ask anything about those 4 big areas, and they certainly didn't find out their why, so they gave the scripts way too soon. So naturally, they're going to say, yeah, sure, that sounds great. How much is it? And then when you give the price, it's like, well, I'm done. No, thank you. Like, they don't understand why that's important. So that's all I got for you guys as far as this presentation goes. And I'll leave you with, I come from a very low income family, so just the pricing is really something that I love talking about, because where I come from, I was on food stamps and standing in line at the food bank begging for help to feed my kids. I did not have the money to start whenever I got started either. So the pricing is the #1 thing for me. It's the biggest objection that I hear all the time. So I got to tell you, when I was back then in that situation with 2 kids, single mom, in line at the food bank to feed those kids, when I would go out with my girls, which was a very rare occasion, and I had like $22 in my bank account, no lie. And I went to Charlotte Russ and I spent $21.78 on a pair of shoes. Do you know, it wasn't the shoes that I needed. The emotional connection behind those shoes, the fact that they were going to make me feel pretty for one night, that confidence boost that I really, really needed, that's what I was buying, not the shoes. So for somebody to be so irrational and take their bank account down to a ridiculous number when they had no money to begin with, that made no sense whatsoever over shoes, money is not the problem. Money is never the problem. If you get to the price and they have an issue with that, you're just not giving enough value. You're not helping them enough for free, and you haven't uncloaked like the true identity of what we do here. So that's probably, that's all I got, you guys. That's like the biggest thing. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that,
awesome.
that you got some stuff out of it. I could seriously go like on and on and on.
Angel, that was amazing. Vanessa just asked you, how many conversations do you start a day?
Okay, so to be totally honest, I don't know. I don't have a number.
You're all, it's too many. I can't count.
Listen, it really is. I talk about you know, the follow up and the tracking. I just found Teamsy thanks to you guys. Oh my God, somebody mentioned it, and I found it like 2 days ago, and holy crap, like it's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. So I'm really excited about that. But the tracking part of it is the hardest part because of the volume of people that I have. I don't have a number. I just go until I get the Success Club points that I know I'm capable of doing. I don't limit myself to 10 conversations a day. Like, maybe I have that as a minimum, but if I have time and I've got 50 people who liked on my post, all 50 people are getting a message from me, right? So I don't think that you should limit. Like, why in the world would you cap yourself at Success Club 10 when there's billions of people out in the world that need your help? And yeah, so you hit Success Club 10 by the 5th or by the 10th or by the 15th or whatever. Okay, well, what do you do for the rest of your month? You just forget about everybody else that's out there that needs your help? No, you keep working. You have conversations, and you just go get it. You just do it.
Love it. Guys, does anyone else have any questions for Angel?
I do. Ariel. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to know, what was the video that you talked about, the Shakeology video?
Easy, duplicatable, I don't even, that's the way to say that word. Duplicatable ways to sell Shakeology by Lashae Stanford. And I have the link book, like it's saved in, I have an iPhone, and I don't know if you guys know, but an iPhone you can save text shortcuts, and you type just a couple of different letters and it'll paste in whatever you want. That's where all my scripts are. It's great. But I have that video actually saved in there because it's awesome. So I can post that, in our group if you want.
Awesome.
Thank
Erica,
you.
did you have a question?
Yeah, so I have first of all, that was like the best thing I've ever seen in my life. So thank you so much. It answered so many questions. But here's a big one for me. I am very anxious about starting conversations with random people. So I noticed that and I'm okay with saying, thank you for liking my post. Is that normally what you do, or do you just go through your list and just say hi?
So most of the time, it's going to be off of my post.
Okay.
And the other things that, because right now my social following is really big. Like I get 100 likes on any given post at this point.
Is that on your like page, or is that on your profile?
My personal page, I have about 11,000 people follow me on my like page, but I get higher engagement on my personal page because I don't run ads. And I'm not going to sink my money into that right now. But so I do get higher engagement on my personal page, and so I do have a lot of people, but it's the same people over and over. So I used Facebook lists. I have about 3,600 females on my personal Facebook page, and I used interest lists, and I made ladies 1, ladies 2, ladies 3, and if you're not a customer or a coach, you went into that list, and I put 500 people on each list. So there's 500 women on each list, and then I run 2 challenge groups a month. So I create a Facebook event page, and I use a Google Chrome extension called Facebook Select All. And once I get my event page up on Facebook, so my first challenge group, I might use, like this month, ladies 1, and mass invite all 500 women, and then whoever RSVPs interested or going, I message them all. And then if I tap that list out, I'm going to go, and all the other people, I usually get maybe 80 people, 70, 80 people who show interest in my events. And so the other 400 people that didn't show any interest, I'll go and message them. Like if I usually don't, because my inbox is like 100 plus unread messages every day at this point. So I literally can't keep up with it because of the volume. Yeah, it's like the compound, totally the compound effect of comments. It's ridiculous. So, and that's why I need to get my organization down pat, my follow-up system down pat, because I'm losing. I'm doing, 30, 40 points a month, but there's so many more people there, and I'm losing them. So I'm not doing as much as I can. So anyways, the event page, if I get through the interested list and I don't have, my conversation, my inbox, I like it to be fire. Like I need it. When I sit down, I need for anybody to be on and to be talking to me, because I've only got an hour or two to have these conversations. So I need for somebody to be on. And if I'm only messaging 10 people, the chances of, half of them being on and able to talk to me right now is not very good. So when if I tap out that list, I'll go down through all the people that I actually invited, and I'll just message them. I'll say, hey, I don't know if you saw my invite to the event page. I just wanted to let you know what that is. I'm starting a new fitness challenge group next month. If you would like, some more information about it, go ahead and just RSVP to the event page, and I will send you some more information. Most of the time when I do that, they're like, oh, yeah, I didn't even see it. Or, oh, yeah, I got the notification. I just didn't know what it was. And I end up with like 50 more RSVPs just from doing that. So I do that twice a month. So the first event in the first part of the month, I'll do that. And then the second, I'll like tap into ladies number 2. So I'm not inviting the same people over and over and over. And I'm really tapping into that whole 3,600 list on Facebook, and so everybody also starts seeing my content and my engagement. That's how high, because I use those lists. And so like next month I'll use ladies number 3 and ladies number 4. So it constantly revolves. Does that help?
Yeah. Do you? What was that thing that you said? I'm sorry, my kid's playing the game. No. What was that thing that you said that you use at Facebook? What? Facebook. Not the list. I know the list. You said something about else. The Google extension.
The Google extension is called Facebook Select All. And there's two, you guys. There's one, it's a little man. The little man doesn't work. So I don't, which it might for you guys, but I am not very technologically savvy. So I actually found these extensions on YouTube and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. Let's try it out. And I can't get the little man to work, but it's the circle with a check mark in it. Facebook Select All, that one does work. And all you got to do is just create your event and then click on invite, and it will pull up the list for you to invite your friends. And so all in the left side of it, you can click on see more underneath your friends, and that's where my interest lists are. So I'll just click on whichever ladies group I'm inviting to. And then once it loads that in the center, I'll click on that little arrow or that little check mark, and it'll select all 500 people immediately. It takes a few minutes, but it'll select everybody, and then I just send out the invites.
Do you post, I'm sorry, one more. She's like, well done.
Whoa, Erica. No,
I'm sorry. Do you post in your event too?
I do. I share my before and afters in there, but I don't do it often. So like once maybe every like 5 days, 4 to 5 days. And then the closer we get to kicking off the event, I'll share my before and afters, and I'll talk about how excited I am and how my spots are filling up quickly. I always talk about how exclusive my groups are, because I have like 200 and some people just in my general fitness page that my customers get access to my groups first and foremost before anybody else does. And that is true. But I always say that I can only take 10 new people coming into the group. And that's not, I'm not lying about that. That's true. Like, I don't want to stretch myself too thin, but I'm running 2 groups a month. So if I'm putting, 10 people in one and 10 in another, that's 40 successful points, right? Like, that's about right. So it makes it seem more exclusive. And whenever I get down closer to the event, I start talking about how the group's filling up, and I have a couple more spots available. If I haven't messaged you yet, please inbox me, that kind of thing.
Awesome. Ariel, do you have a question?
I did have a question. Just about like the general groups, because I've never done a general group. Are you like posting in there daily, or like what are you doing there?
At this point, my general group pretty much runs itself, because that's where everybody goes. So it's like a graduation free group, basic group. If I'm your coach, you're in that group, except for my coaches. My new coaches, I'll add to that group, and I'll let them know that they're only there on a limited time basis. You can spend 3 to 4 weeks in my group, and then you're going. You're out. You got to get out and go make your own.
Perfect. Well, awesome. Ariel, thank you so much for presenting that today. Seriously, I honestly, I learned some new things today. So, I mean, that's awesome. I hope all of us, again, took notes, and I did record it, so I will post it so we can rewatch it as well. Some of the things that she did mention, I just want to hit on real quick, is I love the whole go for no. And I did a go for no video, and I shared stats on there, and things that she mentioned was 1% of sales are made on the first contact, 2% of sales are made on the second, 3% of sales are made on the third contact, 5% of sales are made on the fourth contact, 10 are made on the fifth, 80% of sales are made on the 6th to the 12th contact, guys. That means that we should all be committed to getting 6 to 12 no's per contact before we give up on a single contact, guys. That means they have to tell you no 12 or 6 to 12 no's before you should be moving on for that next person. I'm not saying every month go to them and say, hey, how about now? But be committed to each of your contacts, and be committed to at least getting 6 to 12 no's per contact. But
that's why I had the 4 options to my conversations. There's only 4 options. You're going to stop responding to me, and you're going to go away, and then I'm just going to follow up with you later, or you're going to buy a challenge pack, pick a date to buy a challenge pack, or just become my free customer. Either way it goes, you're going to my group, and that's how I keep people connected. And when they get in there and they see people using Shakeology and getting results, they sign up.
Yep. And that's why it's so important not to burn bridges. It's like after your first no, you're like, oh, I almost said a bad word. Just, telling them oh, get out of here. I don't have anything to do with you anymore. I'm unfriending you. No, don't burn bridges, guys. Seriously, be committed to those 6 to 12 no's. I'm done talking. Angel just hit everything on the nose. You guys are amazing. And I don't know who has to call next week. If no one has it, I will come prepared. And make sure that we all jump on there, sign up for a topic. I can't remember if all of us have signed up for a topic on the page yet. If not, jump on there, just sign up for a topic to go, okay? Can Angel talk again? Absolutely. We'll invite Angel to speak to us again.
Aww. You guys are sweet. Thanks for the opportunity. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome, guys. I will post the recording again on the page.